Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining today for your council recap, it is Chad Brecklin, City Administrator, and beyond. Beyond because you keep coming here and just going beyond and above and beyond. You know, we ask you to do something, you just keep on doing it. Thus, we get to our council recap. And we're looking at the council meeting from November 12th. It was a busy one at that. Do you want to start up just on the referendum update? I know you guys had a chance to talk about it last night. I would encourage people to check out the meeting to see the comments from everybody, but any comments?
Yeah, so I just shared some comments and a map that we created as a result of the referendum vote last week. And of course, we do appreciate all of our community members who participated in the election and voted, regardless of how they elected to exercise their vote. And obviously, we did have a referendum on the ballot that did not pass. The percentage was 53 to 47, 53 against, 47 for, which is a margin of about 1,100 votes or so, I believe. The map that we showed just was an overlay of the wards and how the respective wards voted, at least how we report that to Dane County, overlaid with the school districts and the aldermanic districts. Kind of key takeaways at this point was that Aldermanic District 2 was the only aldermanic district to support the referendum as a whole. I think that district supported by more than 200 votes. The district also supported the Madison Metropolitan School District referendum, both questions. That was the only district that is exclusively within the Madison School District. So that was a key takeaway that we saw, that there was definitely support for referenda in that particular district. The other districts, it's hard to say exactly why this wasn't supported. There's probably a number of reasons that could be potential contributors to the way in which folks elected to vote on this particular referendum. And at this point in time, staff will wait for further direction from the Common Council as to whether or not they would like to resume conversations, or when they'd like to resume conversations about the remaining existing continuing needs that were the basis for the referendum.
All right, we'll watch for updates certainly as they come in through council. We go to update from Madison Metro Transit. Had some folks in sharing just kind of where they're at.
Yeah, the general manager from Madison Metro made an appearance at Common Council. He was talking about some cancellations that they had several weeks back, largely affecting Route 65. It's due to some implementation of their new bus technology, new bus routes, some staffing challenges and training that's been taking place. And there was some unfortunate circumstances that led to some route cancellations on the 65. There are still a small number of route cancellations happening on Route B. They anticipate that the Route B cancellations will be resolved by early December, and they were pleased to report that the Route 65 cancellations they had been experiencing, they had not had any in the last few weeks. So they certainly recognize the importance of having a reliable and on-time transit system, and they do everything within their power that can be reasonably expected to ensure that. So, and one other takeaway on that is there are a number of resources available for folks to be able to stay tuned with Madison Metro and how to, see if a bus is on time and so forth. So we'll also look to get that out through our socials.
Fantastic. Off to Board of Public Works, Resolution 188-24, authorizing the rejection of a snowplow and truck equipment bid. What happened?
Well, this equipment for a truck chassis that we have that we'd like to obviously turn into a snowplow was considerably over the available funding for that. So we've asked the Common Council to reject the bid that we received, and we'll reconfigure the bid and put it out at another time.
Does this affect any of the current operations that will happen this winter?
That is a great question, Jeremy, and according to our Public Works Director, Tim Volker, it does not.
Fantastic. Moving on to Parks Commission on a resolution amending the 2024 general fund for additional hours of community center parks, cleanup work here.
Right, yeah, so our community center room rental use has been higher than anticipated, and therefore we needed a budget amendment to allow for additional hours for our limited term employees to cover those hours in which the rooms are rented. It is important to note that the revenue coming off of those room rentals covers those additional hours for the LTE person. So yeah, that passed without any conversation really.
On the Bicycle and Pedestrian Commission, they had a resolution authorizing a contract with MSA Professional Services for the Bicycle and Pedestrian Commission.
Yeah.
Just don't let me say anything here.
So this is an update to the city's existing bicycle and pedestrian plan. The funding for this is coming from the ARPA and TID closure investment plan. It is not tax levy money or property tax levy money. It was one-time money afforded to the city through either ARPA or a TID closure. And ultimately, we have a contract that was approved here last night with the sole bidder on the update, and we'll be looking to take a look at what has been done since the most recent version of this plan had been created back in 2017, and update that to where we'll head over the next 5 to 7 years with that plan.
Fantastic. Over to our Finance Committee, just one item in here, and it was a purchase software interface for analytical data for our police department.
Yeah, the police department has a software trial that they have coming their way, and this software would allow the officers on the road to have better access, real-time access to some of the analytical data that's available within the police department's records management system. And in order to make that happen, there needed to be an interface between the analysis software and the police department's records management system. So that was approved by the Common Council.
On to public safety, human services, operating licenses. Those type of licenses do come through here from time to time, so you're going to see these pop in there. Any breakdown on this one?
Yeah, so just in general, I won't talk about this specific situation, but in general, the city has guidelines that the Public Safety Committee uses to determine whether or not an operator's license needs to be or should be issued, or if it might require specific attention. In this case, one or more of the criteria was met that would require specific attention from the Public Safety and Human Services Committee. They took that under additional consideration and ultimately recommended approval of the operator's license after meeting with the applicant, and Common Council approved that as well.
You don't always think of those things coming through, through municipal area there, but definitely does. Over to direct referrals on a resolution authorizing staff to draft agreements for public improvements for our well, it says for, but I'm going to go with parks.
Yeah, this is a park-related matter, and we had a group of community members led by Dawn Steigert and Steve Arnold from Bike Fitchburg, who would like the city to implement the Kyle Steigert Memorial Greenway in honor of Dawn's husband, who had passed away a couple of years ago, who was an avid biker in our community. This parcel is located adjacent to the Capital City Trail near Yarmouth Greenway, and ultimately this resolution expresses the Common Council's support for the concept, authorizes staff and other development activities to take place, and also, more importantly, creates or directs staff to create guidelines on how we might address future requests like this, so that we're able to be a bit more efficient in how we can proceed with these. So ultimately, this was passed, and we'll begin working on implementation or creation of those guidelines and how best to proceed with the Greenway proposal from Dawn and Steve.
Awesome. Turning our attention to budget, no small feat there at getting things done. Not too many changes came in as far as proposals or amendments to the budget, but ultimately, you tell me, I didn't get to see the meeting last night, so you tell me the budget passed. A few things changed because of the referendum, so I'm going to stop talking and let you take it away.
Sure. So, spoiler alert, the budget did pass, so we'll cut right to the chase there, but at the end of the day, there were really two amendments that needed consideration. One is related to the Madison Metropolitan Sewage District charges based upon the budget that they had most recently passed. There was some slight changes based upon what was included in the mayor's proposed budget. MMSD updated their and passed their budget after our proposed budget came out, so we needed to correlate those numbers. That amendment passed. Omnibus amendments A through F were all tied to the referendum and were ultimately withdrawn. And then Omnibus Amendment G is related to a expenditure restraint program strategy that our finance department utilizes through the budget process to ensure that we qualify for that additional incentive provided by the state of Wisconsin for expenditure restraint. Typically, while the amount can vary, we generally have between $400,000 to $500,000 in additional revenue coming from the state of Wisconsin, based upon our compliance with the expenditure restraint program that this is referencing. So a bit of a unique budget, as I think you mentioned. Typically there are a number of more amendments to the budget after it comes out, but in light of the fact that this was a tight budget year moving into 2025, there wasn't really a lot of room for amendments. Quite honestly, something would have to be cut in order to have put an amendment in and have it pass. And in light of the fact that there was a referendum on the ballot, there was pretty much a lot of light activity on the amendment front. So, but it is nice to have a 2025 operating budget that has been passed that does maintain existing staffing levels and service levels as we currently have in the city. And we'll obviously begin, the 2026 budget process in spring.
There's two seasons, budget and more budget. No, the budget and construction, right?
Seems that way, yeah.
All right. And again, I encourage everybody to check out the broadcast here from Fact TV on this too. You can hear the closing statements from each of the alders and going through this budget process as well. The next Committee of the Whole meeting coming a little bit earlier because it's the holiday. Somebody's birthday coming up on Committee of the Whole day, so I'm not going to be there. But you can be there and watch that out. Next Common Council meeting scheduled for November 26th. And we have only one after that, correct?
Correct. There are just two more Common Council meetings for the year, November 26th and December 10th.
Well, we certainly appreciate your time. A lot of information to get out there. We'll check back in real soon.